Is that stops would be made through the neighborhood. That's our standard practice. Establishing bus stops, they would not have problems with homeowners. We do have occasional problems with groups of kids and the kinds of behaviors that they sometimes exhibit. And so we have a load of about 50 students and a minimum travel time.
Elaborate on a little bit and remove that opportunity. And we have real data from our current families indicating that they are so fed up with all of this that they will leave your district. Why is that the responsibility of the Wrightstown neighborhood to correct you?
To this day, I call it my second family, and I just want to say that I've met so many friends and was inspired by a great number of teachers. Right now I go to McGee Middle School where I receive straight A's, and next year I will be attending University High School. I would like to thank Wrightstown for such success.
Hi, I'm Samantha Barbie. I also go to McGee Middle School right now, and I've also gone to Wrightstown for all 6 years. And Wrightstown was one of the best.
45 minutes to an hour. These 4 schools that are candidates are likely not to be the last schools closed. And what I'm using for that is done by an organization called the School Facilities Board. It's a central fund now, so there's an equity base. We have been told that in order to, and we have an elementary school here, as I've said, approximately 160.
20 hours a week in this school, serving as a assistant or teacher's aide, helping to correct 2 hypothetical questions, and I accept the hypothetical answer. 1, what would be the effect on your budget and the challenge in charter schools if you had 4 or 5 subject matter volunteer experts in each one of your schools?
And we have 4 or 5 volunteer subject matter because I understand that.
Once I was school built in 1914, Wrightstown Elementary has been a big part of our community for a long time. Those in the school were for all of the children in our village and children's lives, not just schools, not just money, family. I don't know any money. I'm going to tell you that.
They're not. You know, covering them out. They're making sure that they get good quality education.
Well, I would say that we ran an ad actually, but let me just hypothetically say 76% of charter schools are performing, highly performing, or excelling. X%, 81% of TUSD schools are performing, and I just gave you a figure which is going to resonate as a different figure that I've been saying, and I was corrected yesterday because I've been saying there are 94 charter schools within TUSD. There are not. There are 54 charter schools in TUSD, not 94. So that's a correction, something I've learned on this. There are 104 in how do we learn to adapt to change, particularly when that change can go either positive or negative. And what is the responsibility of adults, both in the school and in the family, to help children understand what change is about and how they can deal with change? That would be the real value of being a human being, I think. So, thank you. Thank you for your thoughts.
Ma'am,
We're not really that under-enrolled. We only have a capacity of 230.
Which is part of the issue, too.
We're less than 100.
I can't hear back
There's
here.
so
The
many
educational, physical, and emotional well-being of the children of this district. The children in the 4 schools slated for possible closure have been on an emotional roller coaster since the end of January. The flip-flop of the vote to our current situation has caused an extreme amount of stress to each and every family. From where I stand, you have failed to fulfill your fiduciary responsibilities and to protect our children. This is my son, Zachary. He is 6 years old and attends first grade at Wrightstown Elementary. We live less than a quarter mile from Erickson Elementary. I can hear their flag chain chink against their flagpole from my backyard. We travel approximately 8 to 10 miles to bring my son here every day.
the decision by the governing board to close the school or schools. Secondly, I kind of take an issue when you say that you're trying to minimize the impact. But if we close Wrightstown, you're slashing 100% of our budget. That doesn't mean anything.
I'm a parent and a monitor and a homeowner. Live right behind the school on me. Have you looked at the hearing and really the feeders?
Yeah, we have looked at that. We understand the implication there. The numbers, the capacity numbers will be improved to 24-1. Then the capacity actually goes up. And you can understand.
And I teach first grade here at Wrightstown Elementary. This is my first year in TUSD, my 7th year teaching first grade. And I must tell you, I've never been afraid for my job, but this is the first year I have. Not only are we at risk of losing Wrightstown, I am at risk of losing my job. I would like to know what is being done to fight not only for our schools, but for the first year teachers who are working for these children and also for you, Superintendent Pfeiffer. At the beginning of the year, I received many students into my classroom who were open enrollment students who came to Wrightstown because of Wrightstown's the
Reputation.
impeccable reputation. Thank you. In the last few months, I have lost students to Bloom Elementary School because of what has happened to our elementary school here at Wrightstown. I don't know any parent at this school who would object to having portables on that playground if it meant saving our school. I taught in a portable for 4 years. I would gladly teach in a portable again if it meant saving Wrightstown Elementary. I worked at an elementary school with 600 students, and I can tell you, I have known more about my students here at Wrightstown Elementary School. I have gotten to know the staff here at Wrightstown Elementary School, and there is a much bigger difference that 600 students, half of them fall through the cracks. In a school this size, every child's needs are met. Yep. You say that the teachers and the students are a priority to you. Your actions have not shown that. I fear for my job, and I fear for where my children will end up next year, and what schools they will end up with what teachers they will end up with. I do not feel supported by you. I know there were no other options looked at, there were no other avenues traveled on, and that this was the answer and the only answer.
Okay, well, we've got to take the blinders off on that one, because I've said it will be a recommendation to the board. Now, talking about your particular situation, when we changed class size in kindergarten and first grade, when the time for counselors and librarians who are also certified teachers, so that some of them may come into the, so I'm telling you that sometime probably in the early April, there will be a number of that's employed with a contract this year automatically gets a contract next year. And I need to go back to fiduciary responsibility. We cannot afford as an organization by the number of first-year teachers that we think we may not be able to offer a contract. That is before the vote for school closures.
Now, I have a question for you.
May I finish this analysis? But you can ask after your teaching. But we have some other issues that are still awash. The ELL issue is still awash. If we need extra teachers, we're going to have to hire extra teachers back.
And involved in obviously my kids' years here. As I see,
that is needed. So I do think that one of the things in the future, for the future of this school district, is to take a look at our successful programs. Staff has worked on that all this year. We're looking at the whole open enrollment policy has been changed to our environment of the state funding and the costs for our schools. We probably need somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 to 400 students.
How many of those would have to be special ed to increase the cost without increasing the funding? How many more special ed students would you have to have?
Well, you're right that there is a differential in terms of how the state fund